You have got to be kidding me. I survived 9/11 and so much more crazy shit, and this was my silver bullet? I took an oath to protect and defend. Why didn't I protect and defend myself? My baby girl is now alone in this world. She doesn't have a mother to braid her hair or teach her about boys. She doesn't have a protector to guard her against the dangers of this world, the dangers that spit in my face and robbed me of seeing my baby girl walk down the aisle. The tear gas is sprayed, and everybody scatters. But I have to stay because I am the protector. I am the defender. I defend those that I disagree with. I protect those that want to topple me, just like that statue. I begin to feel weak. I fall to the ground. I know that the end is near. Beside me, there is a young black man. He reaches out his hand, and I greet it with mine. In that moment, we realize how similar and defenseless we are. Isn't it a shame that we didn't learn it sooner? Fuck you, COVID. Fuck you.
God. That little brat sneezed right in my face. I don't know how many times I taught those kids how to do the vampire sneeze. You know, like this. See, it's not that hard. Although, I guess you can't expect a 6-year-old to be perfect. Except for Haley. She was my star student. Always on time, always a good friend to others, always offering to help me after class. Her parents were the first to whisk her away to the Adirondacks. Every day I came in and more of my students were missing. And then we switched to online school. The day I came in to help the older teachers learn how to use the virtual school, I was dead on my feet. But then the next day, there were my students smiling up at me on their computers. They were showing me their pet hamsters and the art projects that their mom helped them with. And suddenly I was answering questions harder than how do I tie my shoe and what does 1 + 1 equal? Some of them didn't have the technology, so I never saw them again. Every day it became harder and harder to breathe. And after 100 phone calls from my mother, I finally agreed to go get checked out. So I packed my bag, called an Uber, went to the hospital. One day, while I was in the ER, one of the nurses was coming around with an iPad. She was letting people see their loved ones. And there was Haley and her mom. And I used the last bit of energy in my body just to smile at her and say, it's gonna be okay. And when I died in that ER in Brooklyn, there were 23 homemade get well soon cards all around the room.
I got into a good school. A great school, actually. I'll never forget the weight of the acceptance letter, the folds from the hard and waxy button of the school seal. Most importantly, the impossibly high price tag of tuition. I gave my buddy a call. Her dad runs a trucking company. I got a gig without a resume. One thing led to another. I had to defer a year and, well, not what I imagined, but the open road is nice. Quiet. I like quiet. I do well with quiet. We got a call regarding the virus at 2 a.m. I had to give up 7 trucks for 700 bodies. Bodies. Chicken. Veal. Fish. Steak. Ribeye. Shoulder. Transpoing 700 bodies is probably more humane than transponing 700 pounds of chopped up and slaughtered animals. And the difference has been negligible. The deceased are quiet. I do well with quiet. Your tests came back positive. Hospital rooms are noisy. The inconsistent beeping of an EKG, the drone of a respirator, even the drip from an IV can sound like the hammering of a drum if you hear it long enough. I'm grateful now. It's quiet. I do well with quiet.
Not despair where'er betide, God will take care of you. Beneath his wings of love abide, God will take care of you. Well, that's what Reverend Watson said when we asked him about wearing masks. We were so excited. Our little choir, the First Christian Evangelical Church, had been invited to sing for our country's royalty, President Trump and First Lady Melania. Well, Reverend Watson, who I'd known since I was a little girl and he's the leader of our flock, said you can't give full glory to God and President Trump wearing a mask, and God will take care of you. Oh, it was glorious. We sang our hearts out that day in the heart of Oklahoma. My husband, Dean, my children, and my grandchildren were all there to witness the honor. Well, it was just 3 days later I started to feel a little punk. I got a raspy throat and a cough. I thought it was just the excitement left over from the big day. But then my baby girl Darla got sick and her husband John. I'm not sure who else got sick because I started to get a little delirious. I didn't want to go to the hospital because there are all those sick people there. And I started singing because I knew I was in God's hands. Glory, glory, glory to God, hallelujah. I was invited to join a heavenly choir. When I stepped on that eternal stage, I looked back and there was my grandbabies and my children praying over me, wearing masks. Oh God, please tell them to keep those masks on. Tell them that God helps those who help themselves. And as you said in Matthew 7:15, beware false prophets.
Some memories escape me. Others leave a fingerprint. One memory haunts me. It's that memory I wish would leave me, but time finds it, clinging more tightly, wrapping its tiny fingers further around my heart. He is that memory. He asked me why I chose him. His eyes were wide, his lips trembled, and a single tear ran down his cheek. Because you were there, I replied. If I'd never seen him, if I'd never followed him home, if only he'd remembered to lock his bedroom window, maybe none of this would have happened. Maybe. Maybe not. They found me guilty, but they never found the body. When the first inmate tested positive for the virus, they moved me out of solitary and into general population. Cellmates with patient 0. The virus took me 20 years before the electric chair could. But it didn't take the memory.
Cry if you want. But wouldn't it be better to finish my artwork, my dear daughter? Go bake that cake. Plant that tree.
It's my mama's birthday.
Yes, it's my birthday. I agree. Cry if you want. But you won't gain a dime. Dance for me. Turn the music on anytime. Close your eyes. Wear my high heels. You see? I never left you. You know how I feel.
Mama, I should never hug you.
Cry if you want. But you're not to blame. Who knew a hug would pass the COVID flame? Remember, the tree will grow green and tall. Your children will come.
Mama,
You will love them all.
Mama, I hear you. Mama, Mama, Mama.
always said, with the slap upside my head, don't touch, don't take, that doesn't belong to you. Well off, they said, that Mama married for money. We never wanted for anything, except maybe a thrill. A thrill, the thrill, that high. Every time I took something not mine, a ring, some bread, a bottle of wine, if it wasn't tied down, it became mine. A plague, they called it. Or was it pandemic? Or whatever the case, it wasn't endemic. There was fighting and hoarding, and they used wood for boarding. And no one ever thought to look out for little old me. So I went to the stores. They looked like they had been hit by wars. Would you like a mask? Someone even stopped to ask. No thanks, I'll just poke around. Then I scoped out the grounds. I stuffed my clothes full. The seams started to pull. The thrill, that high, my heart beat faster. As I walked out the door, I had no idea I was carrying more. It started with shakes. It turned into quakes. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't taste, couldn't pick up my face. And Big Pharma couldn't save me, but I guess that's called karma. Who knew that high, that thrill could kill? An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, but COVID for stealing? I mean, isn't that just a little uncouth?
I died. That was it. That was the life I got. 43 years. I thought I donated these. I didn't have a wife, I didn't have kids. I was an organ donor. That was going to have to cover it as far as me leaving a legacy. Rejected, I guess. No, I should have went to the doctor. I could hardly breathe. But what are you going to do? Wait in the waiting room all day at the ER to be seen and then catch it if you didn't have it already, for sure. And then just be told to go back home. 2020. That was the year that got me. 2020, the year white people found out Nina Simone was right about us. I wanted to see that day. I never liked it when people said, I don't see color. I always did. It's beautiful. And I never liked when people said, I don't care if you're purple. Like we need to invent a race of purple people to make everyone else acceptable. Wait. Was I purple right before I... Maybe that was it. I never had a heart attack. I never had a health scare. Nothing to jumpstart me back into life. I don't know what I was waiting for. Glad I didn't get around to donating this. I wondered when I'd wear it next. Wow. I'm dead. No longer of the earth. I always thought when you died, you would get to know the meaning of life. Nothing yet. I guess they'll get to me.
So, back when this whole thing started, it felt so far away, like, I just never thought it would affect me. I'm young, I'm 18. Nothing should happen, right? Yeah, well, that's what everyone said. I remember that I brought all of these dresses with me, like party dresses, and even though my mom told me that I should be more practical with my dorm closet space, but of course I didn't listen, and I'm pretty glad I didn't, because the best looking junior guy I've ever seen asked me out. I know. So I picked out my best dress and I got all ready, but then my mom called. She told me that she understood why I would go out, but was concerned about the growing dangers. So I told her that I bought an off-brand hand sanitizer at the dollar store, and I promised her that I would take my mask, and I left it in my purse the whole night. So Grant picked me up at 9, and we went to the trendiest club in town. I felt really special. But by 11, the bar was packed. And, well, I thought about what my mom said, but I was just so excited to meet all of his friends. And so we had a few drinks, and we didn't end up leaving until like 2. So Grant kissed me at the door, and he told me that he'd love to see me again. A few days passed, and, well, I woke up with a sore throat, a fever, and a bit of a dry cough. So, of course I called my mom, and by the time I got to the ER, I couldn't catch my breath. So, the next day I got suddenly worse, and the last memory I have of my mother was a phone call. Right before I was intubated. So, it was all downhill from there. Grant never got sick. I was the one who got sick, so guess I decided my fate.
They used to call me El Loco. 36 confirmed kills. I faced death so many times that I practically taunted it. They said I must have had a 4-leaf clover stuck up my ass. You know, these kind of ops, they could give you nightmares. Kind of nightmares you can't talk about. And I'd spend weeks up in trees or down in tunnels with snakes and rats in bitter, cold, brutal heat. But nothing bothered me. Till I was in deep recon hunting down a colonel in the Iranian Special Forces. He was just doing his job. We were all just toys sent out to play. Problem is some of the toys weren't coming back or coming back broken. We were expendable. Anyways, I had to slip in quietly, get close. And I waited for my opportunity. As his lifeless body dropped, a male about the same age as my son entered. Intel said he was alone. Well, Intel was wrong. We had to come in clean and leave clean. I would have to silence the boy. Code of conduct. Duty. Ooh, fucking raw. I just couldn't do it. I left the boy with his life. Oh, there was hell to pay back on base. They knew I was done. And I knew that I'd eventually end up getting other Marines killed by going soft, as they put it. Could have been court-martialed. Instead, it all got neatly swept under the carpet as I got swept out of active duty. I might as well have been swept out to sea. It would have been more merciful. I was tired, man. The killing. I spoke with my wife. I hadn't heard her that excited in years. I'd get out, I'd become a civilian. I'll start a new life. I was once a badass. In battle, you either kill or be killed. And this battle did not take long. It was a routine exam. Had a little cough. Doc didn't like it. Ordered tests. Hell, a little virus. They say everyone has their day. 3 weeks I went from the mountains of Afghanistan to the morgue on a fucking gurney. In the end, I was outmatched. COVID, quiet assassin, had me in its sights, and would not miss. I cheated death time and time again under the most harrowing circumstances imaginable, but I'd always made it home. Gave me a 3-minute call to a plastic sheet. COVID is stealthy and efficient, and in 4 days I was intubated and placed in a coma. I never did make it back to our little ranch or to hold my wife again. See my son become a man. Semper Fi.
The glow of a candle. I've always loved it. It's almost as if it reaches out and wraps you in a big, tender hug. Birthdays? They're my favorite. All eyes following the blazing birthday cake as it parades into the room. Happy birthday, dear Jamie. That was our last big family gathering. February 29th, 2020. There was distant talk of the coronavirus, so I took precautions. We had little box lunches, no serving dishes. Wash hands, wash hands, wash hands. I even limited myself to lighting only one of the 24 candles atop the triple-layer chocolate cake with buttercream frosting. I pulled out the glowing candle. Make a wish. Gray smoke clouded my eyes. Jamie never got ill from the coronavirus, but he was a carrier. Happy birthday to you.
beautiful here. Oh, Mama. I wonder if I can still reach you with my energies. Super intense. Really is heaven on earth. I can feel your love, Mama. Beautiful falling star or something. Wow, so much light. Mom? Oh my God. Oh. I tried everything to see you. I never stopped trying, but nothing worked. And then this thing here, I finally get there, but you were in lockdown and I couldn't get in. I got angry and I kicked someone, and in that split second I lost my freedom, I lost my life. Oh, I'm so sorry. I lost seeing you. Oh, she's beautiful. I had a dress all special for you. So I reconnected with my mum in heaven, and she had this doll who I sent to her, who she thought was a real baby. So sweet. And she tells me my doll from childhood was buried with me. I'm an energy healer in real life, and if you've lost someone from coronavirus, my love, my energy goes to you. Grieve. Cry your tears, because they're healing. But I want you to remember something. They're still alive in spirit. You will meet again. Just feel into your heart and there's a miracle. They're waiting there already, just for you. Forever for you. And they want you to forgive, to let go, to be free. They want you to live. Go live. Live your most joyous life. She's adorable. She's adorable. You did? Oh, look at her. She's got dirt on her face. Oh, hey, this is Angel. You remember Mama Bear, of course. What a perfect day. I'm so happy. I love you, Mum. I love you too, baby.
I do. I wanted to make that promise to the perfect person. Hopeless romantic, I guess you can call me. I grew up in one of those small towns, a kind of place where everyone knew your name, especially if you did something stupid. And growing up, I fell in love with my best friend. I'm talking head over heels. I was shy and soft-spoken as a kid, but she was bold and really rebellious and even a little quirky, and I loved everything about her. My overly religious parents did not, but it didn't matter. We were inseparable. We promised to be there for each other forever. We even shared our first kiss together, just to practice. It was awkward, but I never stopped thinking about it. It was stupid, but I even saved myself for her. Like I said, hopeless romantic who didn't even realize he was eternally damned in the friend zone. When I got older, my father approached me about taking over the church. He mistook my celibacy and lack of girlfriends for an interest to spread the word of God. And my problem in life was I never learned how to say no to anyone. So instead of leaving town, going to college like I really wanted to, I stayed home. Became an assistant pastor to my old man. Inevitably took over and prepared myself for a long, unfulfilled journey through life, preaching the word of God. And she wouldn't go for a pastor, even if I was the coolest pastor in town. So, she left. got engaged to her college sweetheart, Connor Turner. She, of course, wanted to have her ceremony in her old hometown, and how convenient it was her old best friend was a pastor, so you guessed it, I agreed to officiate. And then the pandemic hit. The devil's work, I think I called it. I tried to get her to push back her big day, but she wouldn't have it. Surely I understood, she said. Connor was her perfect person. She had to have him now. And we'll be safe. We'll wear masks. Except for the ceremony. She begged me, not the ceremony, just for the pictures. And like I said, I never learned how to say no. It was 10 minutes. 10 lousy minutes. You see, the virus doesn't give a shit what your relationship is to someone. Friend, family, secretly obsessed, it doesn't matter. Virus doesn't discriminate. Most are fine. Some obviously aren't. And some, like Connor, asymptomatic. She watched me struggle to catch my breath 2 weeks later on my deathbed. My parents were there, sobbing. And so was that bastard Connor, consoling her right in front of me. Me, the hopeless romantic, God's sick joke for a lesson learned too late, especially for those around me. Me, intubated. Even in my final moments, I still couldn't tell her how I really felt.
My mom was a nurse, and her name was Shirley, and she named me Shirley. I loved being born in New York City. My mom gave me the freedom to do anything, from jumping in a puppy pen at 3 and reading to a police dog named Rivets, and at 16, driving to psychic school. I graduated college and met my husband, Donnie Sr., at Stand Up New York Comedy Club. My husband and I, we fell in love and we stayed there. We had 2 kids and raised them like my mom did me, to think and be independent. My husband, well, he's older than me, but honestly, over the age of 50, who cares? I mean, yes, there are more accidents and shorter sex marathons, but we get each other. Last year, I went back to work at the Javits Center, the massive, spectacular convention hall which hosts the auto show and the Comic-Con every year. I was greeting and logging in about 2,000 conventioners a week. 4 days after, I felt short of breath. I had a fever, and I was too weak to walk. Oh, that first night in the ICU, I was hooked up to a ventilator. I dreamed I stood before God, and he said, "Shirley, it's not your time yet. You have more to do." So I slept for 7 days, blissfully happy that someone had heard me and is taking care of me. I woke up on oxygen, The medicines worked, and I felt better, and they sent me home. I was home with my family, breathing and eating and hanging together. It was like heaven opened up and gave us unadulterated joy. Then my kids snuck out after curfew. My kids caught COVID, but they were asymptomatic. My husband caught it. And then I caught it again. At the end, our kids came to say goodbye. My husband and I, we are together again. We're not disappointed or angry at life. We are grateful for what we had and made out of life. So know yourself. Accept your life. Live bravely and love fully.
Dodge another bullet. Wear your mask like you're supposed to. Social distance, that's what they say. That's preposterous. It's absurd. I'll join the social misfits. I'm not putting up with this shit. Stubborn me, I went astray. Who cares what the hell they have to say? Call it intentional or call it a blunder. What difference does it make if I'm cold and wet and I'm 6 feet under? It wasn't any different a quarter of a century ago. 500,000 AIDS cases, the CDC would show. I took a chance. Place my bet. Ah, how I love Russian roulette. My behavior then was sordid. I lived through that, but died of COVID. Why now? Why me? How stupid can I be?
Home aid girl reporting for duty. I'm here for those who can't do chores and errands on this dangerous, deadly crisis that is spreading all over. Anyone past the age of 60? I am your gal. Okay, moving on. No time for distractions. I need to do this right now before something goes wrong. If I don't, I'm screwed. Really, really, really screwed. Okay, stay calm, and let's see what I've got for this week's schedule. Looking. Ah, here it is. Monday, which is today, running errands at the market. Let's see what my client wants on this list. Bagels, Cheerios, and bananas. And then after that wants me to go to the CVS pharmacy to pick up prescriptions. Oh, please don't let the pharmacy and market be a huge long line to wait. It's so irritating. Don't have time to whine about it. Make it a time. Okay, it's 8:30 a.m. right now, so if I go to the market first at 9 a.m. Ah, yes. That will be a good time since noon is peak hour when the line hits. Good plan. Oh, nothing much on the other days. Oh, here's one for Saturday. Oh, same client for Monday. Spring cleaning. That's gonna be a long day for one person to clean up that house. Piles and piles of stuff. But with my power strength, I can get it done in no time. Oh. Errand battle war begin. Survivor supplies. Cover face mask. Check. Gloves. Check. And my almighty block hand sanitizer. Check. Home aid girl. If you need help, beat me.
Don't let him touch me. He's a terrorist. She pointed at me. Just 3 weeks earlier, she had been screaming in front of town hall that it was her right to get a haircut, that the city should not be locked down, that she needed this haircut. I don't know, but maybe she didn't think that I know something about rights too. When I was 7, I knew I was homosexual. In Qatar, you can have money, but you cannot live honestly if you are born this way. So I hid behind my textbooks until I made it all the way across the Atlantic Ocean to medical school in Michigan. I was faced with a reality here they do not show you in the Hollywood movies or on Al Jazeera. The people here, they live in their fantasy mind. And this country lets them believe it. They believe they're not poor. They only have not won the lottery yet. They believe they're not ignorant, but that it is science that is a big conspiracy, making them wear the mask to shame them. That is what is beneath all of this. There is a lot of shame here. And when this woman comes onto the ward, coughing and wheezing and screaming terrible things at me, I treated her with forgiveness. That is what my father taught me. When it came time to hook in the ventilator, I pressed her chin gently. My pride wanted to snap her jaw, but I remained kind because I knew how things would end for her. We would discharge her and she would come back in 2 or 3 weeks with the virus symptoms again, and she would die. This is what is happening to all of the patients with underlying conditions, and I did not expect any better for her. As I looked at her, I saw beneath this makeup and this stupid haircut, I saw her ugliness. I saw a person who does not know joy kindness. family. They confronted me in the waiting room. They said that they do not understand contagion. They said that I was not helping, that I am not American, that I infiltrated the hospital. No, they did not use this word. It is not in the vocabulary. The next month, it is I who am in the hospital as a patient. I am the one who is coughing and wheezing. It is my lungs that are shrinking and imploding beneath all these tubes. And in my darkest moment, I pray to Allah that He will save me from these American terrorists.
Weeks in New York fighting the beast. COVID-19. Only to come home to find COVID in my backyard and people bitching about wearing masks in Tulsa. What a shit show. Work, eat, sleep, repeat. Work, eat, sleep, repeat. Haunted, sleepless nights. Patients gasping for air. Rapid response, cold blue. Rapid response, cold blue. Rapid response, cold blue. Over and over and over. Crash carts, CPR and CPR and CPR. And nothing. Endless body bags loaded into trucks. So many people we could not save. FaceTime faces, crying, pleading, praying. I'm right here. I'm holding your hand. You're not alone. Some went quickly. Some fought weeks, months. It's true. I left New York changed. Jimmy was only supposed to empty the water from my dehumidifier and water my plants. He had a party at my house after the Trump rally. Masks were optional. Go figure. Jimmy made it off of the ventilator. I didn't die from COVID. No. I died from the murder of ignorance. Shame on those that believe a hoax. Disgrace! Wear your mask,
I became a doctor because Dad was a doctor, and Dad instilled in me that healing is a team effort. And that's the approach I take to monology in the ICU. You see, if given the right tools, we have the right opportunity to make a difference. I know it because I lived it. I was a first responder to the COVID-19 pandemic. First cases were seen months ago. New York was hit hard. And now it's our turn in Texas. I've been working back-to-back shifts for weeks. And admittedly, yesterday was one of the worst days I've ever had. I got 10 calls, all of whom young people who would otherwise be excellent candidates for ECMO. They're so sick that if they don't get that support, if they don't get put on, they're gonna die. I've got 3 beds. 3! Oh. Yesterday was a really tough day. A rough day. And I just needed a rest from it all. So I went to my car. I opened my door, climbed into the seat, put my hands on the steering wheel, and dozed off. That's where they found my body. My heart had stopped from exhaustion. I could have been working with COVID for over a week. This situation is like watching a train wreck in slow motion. You know what's going to happen and you just can't do anything.
Who am I? That was my initial reaction after I died and looked in the mirror for the first time. I couldn't see myself anymore, and I was scared. Looking back at my life, I wish I would have claimed my mixed race. Rather than battling myself, trying to pick a side, I wish I had had the courage to create my own box. Instead of allowing other people to make me feel like I had to choose black or white. How can you be half of yourself? What does color even mean to me anymore? I don't have anything physical to attach myself to. God, I don't even have an ego, let alone a reflection. You know, we spend so much time in conflict with each other when we're alive. But when you're dead, everything turns to one dull gray color before it just rots off and disappears. It's so liberating. Well, you have to be dead to really understand it, but don't worry. You'll die one day, so you'll get it. You'll see. Oh, it's funny. In life, I didn't know who I was because I could see myself. But now, I finally know who I am because I can't see myself anymore. When you pass away, you just float. You can't see me anymore, but I still exist. I am oneness now. A beautiful reflection of everything.